fantasy basketball fans. I'm Dave, DC Huet, here for Fantasy Basketball Analyzer, and I'm helping you get ready for Week 9 of the fantasy basketball season. That's right, we're already in Week 9. We are over the 1/3 mark into the fantasy basketball season. Also, this is a good time to mention, these videos are the schedule breakdown. The NBA is only officially released through Week 11, so soon we're going to get kind of the back half, the back 9, if you will, of the NBA schedule coming out, and I'll have more videos for that. But right now, we'll focus on Week 9. So let's talk about the strength of schedule with pace and defensive efficiency. Up top, there's no major changes. The teams we usually like to attack: Washington, Sacramento, Chicago, Minnesota, Brooklyn. Golden State's dropped down there. We've been seeing that trend come each week. No big deal. Down at the bottom, there is a little bit of change. New York, LA, Utah, Phoenix are the ones like clearly down at the bottom. Memphis and Cleveland were down there. Memphis was creeping in. Cleveland's been pretty steadily in the bottom, and they've both moved to the middle of the pack. What's happened is their defense is just a little looser. The defensive efficiency metric that I use from cleaningtheglass.com, which I use because I cut out all garbage time at the end of the games, so you get a cleaner model. Anyway, want to give credit where it's due. But the thing with Cleveland is, if you look at their defense efficiency now, is at a 113. League average, as of right now, is a 112.2, which means Atlanta is perfectly in the middle for league average. Good for them. Big improvement from last year. Anyway, Cleveland at 113 means they're actually worse than average right now. Last week, they were at 110. So there's a 3-point shift in just what they gave up this week. The week before, they were at 109. So they've shifted out of there at the bottom. Not a huge deal, but their pace is still pretty slow at 99.8, which means despite the fact that they're not all the way in the bottom, in any of my DFS games, I'm never going to be excited about a team going against Cleveland, because if they're playing at a slower pace, you're going to get less shots up, right? What you really want is two teams playing up in pace. So if you get Washington facing Portland, that's where some real fireworks can happen, not just because of the defensive efficiency, but if they're just running a lot, you get a chance to rack up some numbers. Okay, enough about that. Let's take these numbers and apply it over to the schedule and take a look at Week 9. As soon as we look at the weekly schedule, the first thing that should jump out at you is the big red 2 next to Dallas. They only played 2 games on Wednesday and Friday. Those are the heaviest games on the schedule too. So you're not even getting to creep them in there on like streaming days. You're going to have to play your Dallas guys versus someone else. And if you're in a weekly locks league, you probably can't really play the guys. You're probably playing Porzingis, Luka the Bazooka, but beyond that, you aren't really getting these other guys in there, right? What makes it worse is most of the teams have 4 games. And even the teams that only have 3 games have pretty good schedule. You know, Indiana's got 3, but they get to play the Bulls and Minnesota. Lakers only have 3, and they get Minnesota and Brooklyn. So even those 3-game weeks, your guys are likely going to put up a lot more than Dallas. Like I said, other than your stars, you got to stay away from Dallas this week. No team majorly jumps out as far as, oh boy, look at that 4-game week and they're going to kill it. I'm excited about Brooklyn's schedule as a basketball fan. Sacramento, even though they're a good fantasy matchup, they've been a lot of fun to watch. So I'm excited to see. But they also get Phoenix, Lakers, and the Clippers. It's a good week of basketball. I'm excited to see what happens here. It might be a rough week as a Nets fan. Not for watching basketball, but depending on how the schedule goes, if they can't stop some of these stronger teams. Speaking of Brooklyn, let's look at the back-to-backs for this week. They start off the week with Sacramento versus Phoenix, so you might have some of your stars resting. Just be on alert for that. But even if you're in a weekly locks league, you're still going to get 3 games out of your guys based on how they're spaced, so I'm not super worried about it. Going down the list from there, Detroit does have a back-to-back. I don't always talk about them as like our major worries. But Blake Griffin did just play for the first time this season on a back-to-back. He played on the 11th and the 12th, Indy and Boston. So there's a good chance you don't really have to worry about it. Otherwise, it's also just Detroit. You're playing some guys, but there's no like superstars that you're totally worried you're going to miss out on. Next up on the list, Houston. They end the week with the back-to-back, Dallas and Indiana. So beware, guys might be resting. I accidentally skipped over Boston because I transitioned on Brooklyn. So they do play Denver and Atlanta. So Kemba could be sitting there. Beyond that, it's pretty smooth sailing. Lakers, no back-to-backs. Clippers, no back-to-back. Washington, no back-to-backs. So we don't have to worry about any of those guys that should be getting rest. Jumping over to the streaming for Week 9 for all you Daily Change League members. It's a pretty interesting week. It's fairly evenly distributed. It goes 7-7, 12, 3-10, 7-8. So Thursday's really the linchpin with only 3 games of where you're going to stream. So I went ahead and marked all the teams that are playing on Thursday and then branch out from there. Because if you're going to pick up someone to try and get the edge to plug them in all week, you definitely can play them on Thursday. With 3 different days of 7 games, you could probably stream there. 7-8's like that cutoff where you're going to be able to get someone in because It's about half the league, give or take, is playing. So with that in mind, the best schedules for this week from streaming standpoint is Brooklyn. They start off They start off the week with 3 games in 4 nights. They get to play Sacramento in there, and they're playing on all the low volume days. If you can pull off something fancy, the next best team for it is probably Sacramento, where they end the week with 3 games in 4 nights. So if you pick up the guys, the thing is they overlap on Thursday when you want to stream. So you're probably not going to get to use that one spot to churn over and get both those. But you could easily piece them together and get a 5-game week out of your streaming position if you wanted to. Unfortunately, both Brooklyn and Sacramento aren't great options for who's out there for streaming. I went and dug in a little bit. So if you're trying to attack Brooklyn, I'd take a look at Jeff Green. He's 25%. Most of the other guys in Brooklyn, and then same thing with Sacramento that you'd want are owned. Like, I try to lower my standards a bit and say, well, maybe can I stomach recommending Hassan Whiteside? And he's 56% owned. I don't think Hassan Whiteside's good in the NBA because I don't think he helps you win basketball games. That doesn't really matter for fantasy. I wouldn't recommend him for season long either. And I was like, well, but for streaming, I could stomach it. He's over 50%. It's probably not going to help you. So I had to dig a lot deeper. Corey Joseph and Nemanja Bjelica are my options for Sacramento. If you're in the Daily Change League, I would give Nemanja Bjelica a look right now. Go check the waivers. He's only rostered in 2% of leagues, so he's widely available. And just last night on the 12th, last night as of recording this, he went for 15, 9, and 6. He shot 62% from the floor in 28 minutes. Now, if you pick him up, you get to play him this week, Sunday against Memphis, which is an all right matchup, and then Monday against Brooklyn. If he doesn't work out, if this was a flash in pan, which is totally possible, that's fine. It's your streaming spot. You cut him, you move on. But if it works out, then you've already got him locked up for later in the week when he plays Miami, Chicago, Milwaukee. You'll probably get them all in. Now, that Sunday game against Milwaukee, it might be a little bit harder because it's an 8-game day. So it's right on the cusp of where you could stream it. But that's 3 games, 7 games, 8 games. You could make a move right now that helps you this week and next week. Or if it doesn't work out, I'm not telling you to cut something major, right? I'm not saying like cut Harrison Barnes and get Nemanja Bjelica in there. No. But if you've got your streaming spot, that's a move I like. Corey Joseph, I'm not saying jump on it right now. But because of how the schedule's pretty advantageous, I would take a look, see what, if anything, he contributes on Sunday. Then you just kind of pencil it away. Towards the end of the week, you want to pick him up just to get some extra minutes there. There's not that many usable guys on Thursday. You can get an extra game edge if you look for some of these guys. My next favorite teams, they aren't totally standing out, just the way they fall. But Miami's got a pretty good schedule. They get that Thursday game, and it's against the Kings, which you like. So maybe Kelly Olynyk, 44% rostered. Give him a look. You can get him in there for Monday, Thursday, and probably Saturday's games. That could help you out. The Lakers, there's not a ton. It's the names we usually talk about. If you want to go really deep and you're just trying to attack it, Wes Matthews, 1% rostered right now. This isn't a long-term ad at all. It's just trying to take advantage of the schedule. They get to play Minnesota, Brooklyn, Miami. You really like the Minnesota-Brooklyn matchups. They're on the low-volume days. So you can pick up some Laker, just plan ahead to edge out your league and get those extra games on Thursday. That can give you a real advantage on your head-to-head matchup. All that said, other than maybe Bjelica gets into a role, like if they're trying to trade him and start giving him extra minutes to shop him around, then go for it. It's also Bagley was out hurt, and we don't know how long he's going to be out. So this might not be a long-term thing completely. All of these guys I named are really just trying to take advantage of, the details of this schedule to give you the edge. If you're looking at your waiver and you're like, well, Sadiq Bey's out there, MCW, Frank Kaminsky, Nerlens Noel are hot, Jae'Sean Tate. Like if you listen to all these guys and you're like, yeah, I'm not worried about streaming. Houston's got 4 games. I want Jae'Sean Tate at 19% owned. That's totally fair. He's ranked 82 overall over the last 14 days. And I'll probably talk about him more in the waiver show that's coming out tomorrow for the Week 9 waiver show. In fact, with those names mentioned, that's just a little taste of what we're going to talk about tomorrow in the Week 9 waiver show. So I should probably let you go. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel if you aren't yet subscribed. And if you wait till the end, I'm going to put something just dumb of me doing a little mic test at the start of the show. Thanks for watching. Go out and win your week. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please hit the like button and leave a comment down below. It helps me grow the channel. If you want more videos like this, hit subscribe or even the little bell will give you alerts. And I'll be back soon with another video for you. Test. This is a sound test. 3, 2, 1. Hello, fantasy basketball fans. Hello, fantasy basketball fans. This is Dave, DC Huet, and I'm here to help you get ready for week 9 of the fantasy basketball season.